Okay, now we're going to be talking about attraction. What brings people together? What are some of the things that might predict who's going to like each other? Who is going to get together because they like each other? So, there was some interesting research by Newcomb where he basically observed how a group of college men kind of fell into place, and kind of how they discovered who they liked and who they hung around with. And he basically discovered some actual useful predictors of who is going to like each other and who's going to be attracted to each other. It's not simply just they're actually, it's not unpredictable. There are predictable ways of determining who are going to be attracted to each other. One important predictor sounds strange, but it's just proximity. Being close to somebody, just being nearby, is something that will increase attraction. First of all, it becomes familiar. Again, this is some person you might meet every day on your route to work or whatever. Your favorite restaurant, whatever. You meet the same person there. The person you're going to be seeing a lot of over and over again is someone you are going to tend to like, someone you're going to be attracted to, someone who you might become friends with. And that's, again, what Newcomb discovered in his research, is that the people who are close by each other tended to like each other. And this has been shown in other research as well. So it's a pretty robust finding. Being nearby is a predictor of attraction. Furthermore, what do you think about when you think about the online environment? Though, you can have people interacting with each other who are from very much different parts of the country, different parts of the world. Well, does proximity work in that case? And the answer is yes. It's just a different kind of proximity. It's not necessarily physical space, but proximity referring to just the number of times you interact with each other, the number of times people approach the same space on the web, the same social media site or whatever. So the frequent interaction, the frequent contact, is another way of looking at proximity, and that seems to be true in the online world as well as in the real world. Another aspect of attraction that Newcomb discovered was the concept of elaboration. You may start out with two people having a relationship, and then they kind of connect with other people. Think about your friendships. Think about how many people that maybe you started out knowing this person as a friend of a friend, and now you're friends with that person. Maybe you're a group with those people. So the friends of a friend, the additional people form new networks, form new groups. So if you take a look at this picture over here, you can see how the networks start to form. And again, this is called elaboration. One person connecting with another, connecting with another. Finally, another very important predictor of attraction is similarity. We tend to like people who are similar to ourselves, not just physically, but in terms of our personalities as well. And there is plenty of evidence to show this. Don Byrne, for example, did a lot of research on attitude similarity. He could basically predict how attracted two people would be based on the number of similar attitudes, or the proportion of similar attitudes. So basically, you'd have two people fill out an attitude questionnaire, and it often didn't even matter what those questions were on. But subjects who were more in agreement, they liked each other more. Subjects who were less in agreement liked each other less. and you can more or less predict it pretty much on a straight line. So similar attitudes, similar personality, similar levels of attractiveness, all of these play a role in attractiveness, in attraction rather. Now, the similarity attraction doesn't always work, but it usually does. But there are times in which complementarity, meaning where you have two individuals who, for whatever reasons, complement each other. One trait kind of matches well with another, even though they may be opposites. For example, you might have someone who's very dominant and strong, might pair up with someone who's passive and weak, and they kind of form a connection there. There might be people who who prefer to be leaders, and there are others who prefer to be followers. And in those kind of circumstances, you can see a complementary relationship where two people might be attracted to each other. Another important aspect of attraction is the concept of reciprocity. Reciprocity meaning essentially like I'll do something, you do something for me, and I'll do something for you. That's reciprocity, tit for tat. Well, there's been research to show, no surprise there, that if you find that someone likes you, you tend to like that person. We like people who like us. It's reciprocity. You like me, I like you, and that's an important principle when it comes to attraction. So that is another important predictor of attraction. Finally, the Minimax principle. The Minimax principle essentially says that we are going to do things, you're going to take actions that are going to have the maximum benefits, the maximum rewards, and the minimum costs. So, what does that have to do with attraction? Well, you might find that you're so attracted to somebody who has a lot to offer you. Maybe the person is somebody who who can do a lot of fun things with you, and that it's enjoyable. Maybe that person has resources that they can go out and do things with you that maybe someone who does not have those resources can't. So those might be some of the rewards. There are also costs when we are dealing with other people. Sometimes there might be personality conflicts. Sometimes there might be other issues that might come up when you are interacting with them. Maybe you have somebody who lives far away and takes a while to get to see that person. So those might be costs. Well, if you can maximize the rewards and minimize the costs in terms of the people that you're attracted to, that you join up with, then that fits in with the Minimax principle. And this is, by the way, has also been applied to relationships. It's kind of like a social exchange theory, which deals with how we interact with each other as a matter of exchange. You do something for me, I do something for you. What am I getting from this? How much is it going to cost? That kind of thing. Well, this reflects in group membership, and it reflects in romantic relationships as well. So let's talk about this in terms of a group relationship. Take a look at these two terms, the CL and the CL alt. Okay, the CL, the comparison level, is basically your evaluation of the rewards, your rewards minus costs. So in other words, the comparison level is what actually am I getting from the membership into this group. So the comparison level is your overall value of this particular relationship. If the benefits outweigh the costs, then you got positive value. If the costs outweigh the benefits, then you got negative value. Okay? So, if your membership is in the group is above the CL, then you are going to be satisfied in the group because the rewards outweigh the rewards outweigh the costs, and that's reflected in these two boxes here. If it's below the comparison level, then the membership is dissatisfying because the costs outweigh the rewards. So you're going to be dissatisfied if you're in the group. So far, so good? Okay. Now, what about comparison level CL or comparison level alternative? This is where you are looking at alternative options, and you're seeing if your membership in the group is better than the alternatives or worse than the alternatives. So let's say here's the best circumstance. You've got a basically rewarding group as indicated by the CL above CL, and you have your group, the group that you're in, that you're considering joining, is better than the other groups that you could potentially join. So you'd be very satisfied to join this group because not only is it rewarding by itself, but it is also better than the alternatives. Now what happens if you're in a group or thinking about joining a group that you're not too crazy about? The costs outweigh the benefits. It doesn't look like a particularly enjoyable group, but maybe you got to join a group, and the alternatives to joining those groups are very poor alternatives. And maybe one poor alternative is being lonely and being by yourself, which is worse. Maybe it's joining groups that are worse than this one. Maybe the costs are higher in other groups. And in that case, you're not going to be happy in your group. You're going to be dissatisfied, but you're going to join anyway. Now think about this in terms of a romantic relationship. You might find somebody who's in a romantic relationship that is very unsatisfying. They're not very happy, but maybe they don't see their options outside of this relationship as satisfying. Maybe they don't want to be alone. That would be worse than being married, than being in this relationship. Or maybe they don't feel as if they would be able to get a partner who has the kind of resources that this partner does. So they are not confident about getting better relationships. So they're going to stick with this unsatisfying relationship just because the alternatives are even worse. Now, let's say here's a circumstance where the group membership you're considering joining is worse than some of the other options. If this is the case, then you're not going to join this group. So in other words, it's a group that's not going to be rewarding, and you can see that there are other options available. You're not going to join the group. You're going to go elsewhere. Now here's an interesting circumstance. Let's say you are in you think about it, it would be a group that you believe would be satisfying, that it would be a good group to join. And but there you see that there are other alternatives, that there are other groups that are actually going to be better. Well, you're not going to join this group, even though it would be satisfying, even though it would be rewarding, because there are better options. Now again, think about romantic relationships. Somebody who might be in a relatively happy relationship might leave that relationship if they feel that someone better came along. So that happens again. So this refers, this matrix refers to both group membership as well as romantic relationships.